All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yes, you do see me on here. Um, Steve is not available. Tristan has to travel tomorrow morning, so I told him to take it easy and just focus mainly on packing up and stuff like that, so he can get out of there and get some rest. Let me get out here tomorrow morning and get some. Let me get some rest tonight, so he can get out here tomorrow morning.
You the backup quarterback.
Yeah, well, I've always been a Wildcat quarterback anyway, so you already know who I am, Coach Williams. These guys will not allow me to fully retire. But as you can see here, it says that I am in the war room because of the title. It says Just a Fan Podcast Mock Draft 1 point only. Okay, so yes, I'm in the war room and I love this kind of stuff.
We doing it one time.
That's it. One time.
Just one time.
There you go.
We're doing a mock draft. This is actually my mock draft. We're gonna do it live. And we're gonna go pick by pick, the first round only. No trades in this particular mock. And you, the viewers at home, are welcome to comment on the picks, what you think about them, and where you would go if you don't agree, who you would pick, and then what you think. What up, Donnie V?
Also, so, yeah. Hold on, man. Hold on. I didn't even introduce you, man.
Yo, man, everybody know who I am, man. I'm on.
I know, man, but still, that's how we start the show, because you never know if there's somebody brand spanking new.
I'm Pando 316, the Texas Rattlesnake, the good guy with the black hat. Pando 316 says, "I just proved you wrong," is my catchphrase, and that's the bottom line, because Pando 316 says so. So,
yeah. See, you see, can't stop talking. I was the one I just told him that I was supposed to introduce him. Hey, so now, anyway. All right, so. Before we get started, I do want to say this, though. It has been 25 years since the good old New Orleans Saints with head coach Mike Ditka traded all his draft picks just to move up and take running back Ricky Williams from Texas. It has been 25 years, and today is that anniversary. Happy 25th year anniversary, Mike Ditka, Ricky Williams, and the New Orleans Saints. Who that?
Lord Jesus. That is a draft that will live in infamy. and also, it was 25 years ago. It's a quarter century ago. You know, we joke about it, but it's really an indicator of how things have changed so much with the idea of how the draft is run and the positions of value, or the positions that are coveted in the draft. And what I mean by that is, you know, Mike Ditka unwisely traded his entire draft away so he can move up to number one to take Ricky Williams, a running back. And here we are in the 2020s, where most teams won't even take a running back in the first round. And running back is probably the lowest paid, most devalued skill position in the league now. You know,
that and linebacker.
Yeah, and you get paid. You know, you you don't get paid as much to be a running back. You're not as sought after to be a running back because, and y'all have heard me say this before, those of you who watch the show on a regular basis, running backs come a dime a dozen, and the NFL's got $1. Bottom line. So, it is what it is. And to think that somebody that would sound like people that are younger than 25 years old or right around 25 years old, the NFL fans. Can you imagine in today's NFL? Hey, what up, Clee? Can you imagine in today's NFL a team trading their entire draft for a running back?
That GM be fired tomorrow.
It just it it's mind blowing. It's not even looked upon like what? You wait, you what? Yeah, even if it was you now, to be fair, even 25 years ago, people were still like, wait, what? But I mean it's Ricky Williams. That's what people were saying. There's not a running back today. There's not a running back coming out anytime soon that's worth your entire draft.
Also, not to mention, Ricky Williams only lasted in New Orleans his first 2 years of his career.
Yeah,
He ended up getting traded to Miami.
yeah. It wasn't the best. So but I mean that's how you get fired. That's how coaches and GMs get fired by making
Yeah,
those
and
decisions.
he saw that Dicker wasn't there too much longer afterwards.
Yeah, it was a Travis mockery, a travesty, a sham, and a mockery. So
Definitely a travesty.
moving forward, we're gonna do our mock draft tonight. I'm gonna actually share my screen, and we're doing Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator. If you want to follow along at home, you can. You just go to profootballnetwork.com and click on mock draft simulator, and you can do your own draft, select all teams. And I'm going to tell you, I've already done one already, but we're going to do another one live. We're going to go pick by pick and explain why we're taking these picks. And, you're welcome to do commentary, or you're going to say, well, I took such and such of that pick. And we can talk about it for a little while. Not for long because we still have 32 picks to go through. But that's going to be the synopsis of our show tonight. So it should be fun. So if you're following along, if you're watching, you got your laptop on your lap or your tablet or your phone or whatever, Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. That sounds like a doggone work from home pandemic type thing. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay.
Oh God.
All right. So here we've highlighted all the teams, and we're going to do one round only, and we're going to enter the draft. So for my first pick overall, I went with Caleb Williams, USC quarterback to the Chicago Bears. If y'all have anything to say about that, y'all let me know, because I think that's just going to be the pick. Do I think Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in this draft? Yeah, jury's out. Jury's still out on that. I don't believe in that, but I think there are other quarterbacks that have more to offer from the intangible standpoint than Caleb Williams. Physically, he's gifted, but I think that's going to be the pick in Chicago. I only made that pick because I think that's going to be the actual pick. Now, after this, these are picks that I am going to that I think should go to this particular team based on their team need and based on the current class of that position, if that makes sense. What do you think, Brandon, about Caleb Williams?
Well, yeah, that's gonna be the pick. I disagree with the pick. I know the team needs a quarterback after trading Justin Fields, but from the questionable personality stuff that I've heard, I know people are trying to downplay it right now, especially in national media, and a lot of fans who sit there and believe this stuff. That's fine, but one thing, and I was talking to the SRO at the school I work at about him. And one thing I've said, I said, listen, the NFL is not a microwave league; it is an
Mhm.
oven league. In other words,
Cook it
just
slow.
because you don't see it now, don't mean you're not going to see it later.
It's a crock pot league, man. Crock pot,
Whatever.
real slow. Yeah.
Listen, listen. We're not sitting here trying to put a TV dinner in a microwave for 3 to 5 minutes.
Uh huh.
We got a turkey in that oven.
Gotta cook
Okay,
it slow. I'll give you a better analogy. We got a smoker outside, and
there you go.
we
There you
smoking a
go.
brisket.
There you go. Smoking a brisket. There you go.
Yeah, it
So
takes time.
so basically, that's what's going on. And you know, and I'm not saying Caleb Williams is going to be as bad as Antonio Brown, but those veteran players was trying to warn the Steelers front office brass about paying Antonio Brown. And as soon as he got paid, he started really showing him who he really is. So um, money doesn't change people. Money just shows you who they really were, in the first place. And I think Caleb Williams gonna have some problems down the road, but it's going to be the pick. Move on. Let's go to Washington.
Okay, so for the Washington Commanders, they obviously need a quarterback. We'll go to offense, and quarterback is a need. However, I don't think that they're going to take Drake May. I think they're leaning toward Jaden Daniels, and I think he's a better fit for that particular offense. So I'm going with Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders at quarterback. I think Tristan would be really happy with that. Um, I think,
He's an
that,
LSU fan anyway.
yeah, and I think that I think he's a better fit for that offense. I think he's going to be able to do more in that particular offense. So yeah, I'm liking Jaden Daniels. There's going to be a run on quarterbacks for probably the first three picks in this draft. So we're going to see a short little run on quarterbacks. So what are your thoughts? And people at home, please chime in.
Well, there's a rumor that the first, and I know it's gonna sound crazy because Arizona's at number 4, so that's telling me that somebody could be trying to make a trade with Arizona. But I heard that the first 4 picks could be quarterbacks. Okay, but we controlling this tonight ourselves, and we're not doing trades, so
Yes.
obviously not gonna be a quarterback at number 4 because they have Kyler Murray. But Jaden Daniels, yes, I think will be the pick. Um, he'll be able to run around like RG3 did. He'll be able to throw the ball deep and stuff like that. But and listen, if y'all don't know me by now or haven't figured me out by now, I probably am the toughest person when it comes to quarterbacks. Okay, I just am.
You think you tougher than Tristan?
Yeah, Tristan can evaluate quarterbacks, but here's my thing. Once you get to the league, I'm tougher on quarterbacks than almost anybody else. And I'm gonna say this until Jaden Daniels becomes a shoulders, and I'm not sure. I mean, if he is, he is. But until he truly becomes a shoulders up quarterback, all this running around stuff is not gonna matter. That stuff is cute for the regular season. It's cute for teams who are completely undisciplined. It's cute for teams who like to just sit there and just get the defense alignment up the field. But when you run to that defense, that San Francisco 49ers type defense or that Baltimore Ravens type defense, you're going to have to be able to not only just throw the football, but make the correct read and make the correct pass and put the football where it needs to be. And so until I see that from Jaden Daniels, I'm not really buying too much. He can have, like I said, he'll have success. He'll have success. But I've seen too many quarterbacks that just ran around and it looks so fun during the regular season because they are Ferrari. But when you get into the playoffs, you need some dump
A pickup
truck.
truck.
You need some dump trucks. So, you know, it'll be Jaden Daniels. That's fine. Let's go to New England.
All right. So with the Washington Commanders passing on Drake May, I think they're gonna jump at Drake May in New England. So I'm going with Drake May um, to the New England Patriots. It covers a quarter. They need a quarterback. They got needs all over the place in New England, but uh, quarterback is definitely like a big one. So Drake May, quarterback, North Carolina, New England Patriots.
From
Thoughts?
from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, all the way up to Foxborough, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. Look, listen, same thing really. Only the difference this time is it's not speed, it's this whole arm thing. I posted in our NFL group last month. Him throwing the football 83 yards, and I'm like, who cares? Who cares if he
Yeah.
throw the ball
You
83
remember?
yards?
You know who else did that? Kyle Bowler. Where's Kyle Bowler now? At home, been at home.
What did Kyle Bowler do in the NFL? Nothing.
That's my point.
You know who else can throw the ball far? Jamarcus Russell. What did Jamarcus Russell do in the NFL?
Hmm.
Nothing. So my point is,
Well, doggy.
all this stuff, man. I listen, I might go on a quick tangent here. All this, I can throw the football 83 yards. I can run around. I can run a 40-yard dash in 4.344 seconds as a quarterback. I can throw the football like Anthony Richardson last year at his pro day, and it hit the ceiling of the little arena that they in. Somebody did some defensive tackle did a 360 dunk standing just did a straight vertical dunk, not without a running start.
How
Some
does that apply to the game of football?
and the last thing was some football player jumped out of a swimming pool and landed on a ledge. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't. It's there's, but it probably will be Drake May. Um, but again, until I see it, I don't care.
Okay. So moving on, pick number 4. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals. But before I make the pick for this, I want to remind everybody who might be just joining us. This is a mock without trades. Number 4 is a prime trade spot. So we
Yes.
could see teams trading up to this spot to grab their quarterback or what have you. But we're not going there today. So because it gets too convoluted and our show will last 3 or 4 hours and we don't want to do that because we got real jobs we got to get to tomorrow. But basically, we're gonna go ahead and make a pick right here, number 4, with the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray needs some receivers he can miss. So why not go with the top rated receiver in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr., right there, number 4. Again, I see them possibly trading back because the receiver class is so deep this year in the NFL. They can move back, pick up some extra picks, and still be able to get quality receivers for Kyler Murray to miss. Um, so, we're not doing trades right now. So if you got it, you got that pick. Let's go ahead and take the best receiver in the draft, arguably, because there's a big argument about Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors. So Marvin Harrison Jr. to the out of Iowa State to the Arizona Cardinals.
Um. Yeah, I can definitely see that being the pick. He hasn't had an anchor wide receiver since Nuke Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
and it's time. Um, I think Marvin Harrison, as he develops into an NFL receiver, I don't think the development should take long. But I think Marvin Harrison is going to be the kind of receiver that's going to have to carry Kyler Murray.
He won't be hard to carry. He's not that big.
Uh, NFL media loves Kyler Murray to death. Whatever. We're not NFL media.
We
We're
keep it
just a
real.
bad podcast. We keep it real.
Facts over feelings.
That's right. Facts over feelings. Um, Marvin Harrison is a big frame receiver, pause, who will catch almost any football coming his direction. All Kyler Murray got to do is just lead him. Just put the football. He's not. It doesn't have to be a random ball situation where it's throw it up the dog. I'll go get it. Throw it in front of me where I can catch it and I can still run in stride and turn upfield. That's all Kyler Murray got to do. That's all. If Kyler Murray can get that football right where it needs to be for him to remain in stride, I swear Marvin Harrison is going to be able. It's going to have a successful career. But if this is going to really, it's going to really hinge on Kyler Murray. And honestly, this could turn out to be another Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins incident from 2020 when Jefferson was a rookie. And since nobody was in the stadium, you can hear Justin Jefferson cuss out Kirk Cousins. You laughing? I'm serious.
No, I know you.
This could be it.
I know you're serious, but yeah, the catch radius of Marvin Harrison, that's one of his selling points. He's very polished in his routes. He has an amazing catch radius. He's bigger than his dad. He plays more physical than his dad played. So yeah, he arguably the best receiver in this draft. And again, I want to emphasize arguably because a lot can be said about Malik Neighbors, which is my next pick for the San Diego, Lord, LA Chargers. With the departure of Mike Williams and the departure of Keenan Allen. And we just found out J.K. Dobbins just got signed by the Chargers. He's looking like he's probably going to be their bell cow back. The next logical thing will be to go ahead and get a alpha dog target for Justin Herbert. So Malik Neighbors, I have going to the LA Chargers. I think that's the pick that will go. Malik Neighbors, LSU wide receiver, LA Chargers.
Okay. So I've heard offensive lineman, which I don't understand because they have Rashawn Slater at left tackle, unless Jim Harbaugh don't like Rashawn Slater. And if you don't like Rashawn Slater, then I want Dallas to trade for Rashawn Slater. That's just me. I'm gonna push back on you on the pick, but not the position. Okay.
Okay.
I know his name is not up there in the top 3, but I'm gonna say Rome Odunze.
See, Rome Odunze, because we got a mini run on receivers here. Because Rome Odunze, spoiler alert, is my pick for the Giants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is room? Quick question: I think Rome Odunze because I think he's a jump ball receiver. So in my mind, I'm thinking he's more physical than Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, so Malik Neighbors has more. He has more tools in his toolbox than Rome Odunze. That's why I have him ahead of him. That's why we need Steve on here because he's been scouting the receivers. But what I've looked at on film is Malik Neighbors has more facets than Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze,
I agree. I probably agree with you.
Yeah, he's more of a hey man. I'm a fade route. I'm a 9 route guy. I'm a post. Malik Neighbors can pretty much run the entire tree, whereas Odunze has not shown that. And that might be a product of just the offense he was in Washington.
But my question is he more physical than Malik Neighbors? Because if he's more physical,
I would say Malik Neighbors is more physical.
Okay, well, if Malik Neighbors is more physical, then I agree with you. Okay, because I guess because I see Rome Odunze as a jump ball receiver, and when you jump ball receiver, I see you as being more physical, and so I would think Jim Harbaugh would want that, but that's fine. You taking Roma Tuesday for the Giants, that's fine. Um, but I feel sorry. Regardless of who goes to number 5, if the other one goes to number 6, I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, because you got Daniel Jones as a quarterback. It's going to be another receiver for Daniel Jones to miss.
And I was on Warren Sharp's Twitter account. Daniel Jones, out of 48 48 qualified quarterbacks in the NFL from last season, he was ranked 48th. And even if you kind of took some modern stats, advanced stats away from the situation, he was no higher than 47th. So it doesn't matter. So you can say he's the 47th best quarterback, or you can say he was the worst quarterback qualifying from last year. It's not gonna matter. But whoever the receiver is, I feel sorry for him. I wish I knew them personally, so that way I can send them a goodwill gift and a goodwill card and stuff, because they're gonna be sad all season long.
Yeah,
And the Giants don't have an offensive line.
And they can't really get out of
Daniel Jones' contract
without eating it like Denver did with Russell Wilson. They'd have to eat that contract and take a hit in order to do that, and it's crazy. So moving on, pick number 7, the Tennessee Titans are in desperate need of offensive line help.
Yeah.
The best offensive tackle right now in the draft is Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. I have him going to the Tennessee Titans to shore up that offensive line, whoever's going to be behind it.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be Will Levis.
Yeah, so, yeah, I got an offensive tackle going to them.
I agree. No argument.
And it's going to be we're going to see a lot of tackles flying this round.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because this is a tackle-rich draft. It's a top-heavy. Let me be clear. It's a top-heavy tackle draft. So if you want a good tackle, you're gonna have to grab them probably within the first 50 picks of the draft.
Yep.
You know, from pick 1 to pick 50. If you don't get them somewhere up in there, they're gonna be gone. Because there's a lot of tackle-needy teams, and there are a lot of good tackles. But then after those good ones go, that's it. You know, you got project guys. You got guys that might be good later on in their career, but not right away. So, for number 8, pick number 8.
What do we do with Atlanta? Because I've been seeing people saying Dallas Turner, but man, I don't know.
I think well. So that's my pick actually. Is Dallas Turner to Atlanta, because they have a desperate need at edge. They don't have a real surefire edge rusher in Atlanta, and that's where I would be going with that, because it just makes the most sense. He's right now arguably the best edge rusher on the board.
Yes, he is.
And that's where they have a need. So
yeah.
It's just kind of some of these top ones are no brainers. And that's just, that's just what it is. Some of these are just, there's not a lot to talk about, with some of these guys. There's a lot of discussion with some of these picks, and some of these other picks, it's like, well, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So here we are again at pick number 9. This is another, and you mark my words, come next Thursday, which we'll talk about later. Number 4 and number 9 are highly sought after trade spots.
Yeah, because Chicago, and the reason why for Chicago at number 9, Chicago only has 4 picks overall in this draft. Yes, 2 of them in the first round, but then you got 2 more somewhere else. They need as many picks as possible. So Chicago should trade back in real life next week, but we're not doing the trade. So Chicago's here.
Chicago's here at number 9. I like them to get an edge rusher to go with Sweat on the other side, and I like La'el Latu.
Yes,
right there.
Now I tell you what, Dallas Turner is someone who you got to make sure you develop him correctly and stuff. He has a hell of a lot of athleticism, but Latu might end up being the best edge rusher in his draft. He might be the best one. I think right now he's the most complete edge rusher in this draft.
Yeah. So Latu edge out of UCLA to the Chicago Bears. But again, Bears fans, if you're watching, I can see your team trading out of that ninth pick and picking up more picks later in the draft because honestly, Chicago doesn't need a couple of players; they need a lot of players if they're going to compete in this NFC North with Green Bay and Detroit, the powerhouses that they have become and are still building into, you're going to need players, not just a few. You're going to need a lot of players. And the best way to do that is to build through the draft and to just, you got a luxury pick. The ninth pick overall, that's your luxury pick. You hold it up and say, hey, who won it? Highest bidder. And then gather a bunch of picks up and then build your team that way. Not to mention Chicago has a lot of cap space too. So
exactly.
So yeah, that's because we're not doing trades. We went with that pick, but honestly, I see Chicago trading out of that pick. Moving on. At number 10, we have the New York Jets. You got an aging quarterback in Aaron Rodgers
and Tyrod Taylor.
And Mekhi Becton has not been what's up because of his just you know how they say your best ability is your availability. So I have them taking Omalaya for Shanu out of Penn State tackle.
So basically, he will play right tackle starting off, and then when Tyron Smith is no longer in New York, he can flip over.
Yes. So that's what I see happening. Because you went and got Tyron Smith, and then you got your left tackle. You need your right tackle. So you need your bookend tackles to protect your quarterback. So especially somebody like Aaron Rodgers who's getting to be old as black pepper and can't move like he used to. He needs to be able to stand in that pocket tall and deliver the ball. Stand in the pocket tall, deliver the ball. Bars. Okay. At number 11, here's where
it gets interesting.
It gets interesting. The I can see quite possibly the Minnesota Vikings trading up to maybe 4 or 9 or something like that for their quarterback. But they're right here at 11. And I have them taking none other than, watch this, I'm finna mess with you because you're not ready for this. Michael Penix Jr. Not JJ McCarthy. Penix Jr.
Over JJ McCarthy. Talk to me.
Yeah. I think they wanted somebody that can sling that rock all over the place to Jay Jetta, who basically didn't show up for voluntary workouts, but I think he's going to get re-signed. I don't think that's going to have a problem in Minnesota with that. Yeah, Michael Penix's ability to throw is a little bit better than JJ McCarthy. Let me be clear, JJ McCarthy is not a slouch at all by any stretch of imagination, but I like Michael Penix in that particular offense. That's my thoughts on that.
So the good thing for Penix is he will have an anchor wide receiver. He will have a good tight end at TJ Hawkinson as well.
Yes, sir.
And his third target is Jordan Addison, who'll be going into a second year.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And he'll be on a rookie contract. He should beat out Sam Darnold, and you just build around him. As long as he's on his rookie contract, you got 3 to 5 years to do it. Get it done.
Okay, so moving on to pick 12, Sean Payton is licking his chops because the Minnesota Vikings just took Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy is just sitting there. So J.J. McCarthy to the Denver Broncos. J.J. McCarthy, Michigan, Denver Broncos.
No argument here. We'll see. We'll see what Sean Payton does with J.J. McCarthy, man. He's going to have to build this team around him.
And now we're having a run on quarterbacks. We have the Las Vegas Raiders, where they just now discovering that Jimmy Garoppolo is trash, and They got Aiden O'Connell. They can stick with him, but I think if they have someone like Bo Nix sitting there, that's my pick, they're gonna go with Bo
Whoa.
Nix, number 13 out of Oregon to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Bo Nix?
Yep.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's that little mini run on quarterbacks that we're gonna see. Okay. So
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
go
on,
ahead,
hold
go ahead,
on.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Because I'm stirring the pot.
The only other pick I can see them making will be tight end Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, I can see right there.
That's
That's
the only other pick I can see.
Bo Nix is my pick. However, Brock Bowers does make sense right there. Because I did think about Brock Bowers right there.
Because there is no defensive player worth taking there.
Nope, not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Receivers, not yet.
Not yet.
Definitely no running backs.
No, not in the first round at all.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah. Brock
Probably
Bowers,
not the first 60 picks, honestly.
yeah. Bowers is the only person I can see them taking, but yeah,
Yeah. So grab your quarterback early and see if you can trade back into the bottom of the first, or if he's there, around the middle of the second. Yeah. So the Who Dat Nation is on the clock.
what are their needs?
They need some offensive line help. They need edge rushers. They need defensive tackles. And lastly, I don't know why it's up here, but Pro Football Network seems to think they need a quarterback, and some of the Who Dat Nation does think that as well. So I have them basically taking Talisi Fuaga,
Good move.
offensive tackle out of Oregon State, to go with God dog, his name slips my mind just that fast. But yeah, Talisi Fuaga. Titus, help me out. Who's your other tackle? I can't think of it right now.
You talking about Trevor Penning?
Yeah, there you go, Penning. Yeah. All right. So so I see them going tackle, solidify that offensive line, and work with that. So pick number 15, the Indianapolis Colts select. They just paid Michael Pittman a bunch of money, but Brian Thomas is sitting there, and I think they like Brian Thomas. Now, this could be Adonai Mitchell or Brian Thomas, either one. I think they're interchangeable, but I think they're going to go with Brian Thomas right there. Weapons for AR-15, because the cupboard's not that it's not that full as far as weapons are concerned.
No, and you're right. You got to build around him, but they got to do a better job of protecting him. And I don't mean by offensive line. I'm talking about this running stuff. Listen, man. I just said it earlier on the show that I am probably the most difficult person when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL, and some of it is their fault. Some of it is the team's fault / front office. The Colts have to learn from their mistake of handling Andrew Luck. They gotta learn from that mistake, because history look like it's gonna repeat itself after what happened last year. Him getting hurt twice, and that second time he was just done for the rest of the season. They gotta protect him. I can't. There's nothing else. Next pick. Sorry.
Okay, pick number 16, the Seattle Seahawks. They're at a loss, without Bobby Wagner. Okay, so I think this is our first linebacker coming off the board, and I like Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M going to the Seahawks. They're going to go with need over BPA, so it's a little bit of a reach. So here's another spot where you might see Seattle and move back a little bit.
That's a possibility.
They can still take that linebacker there. and then pick up some more picks. So the BPA as far as defense was concerned in Seattle was they were corners, but I think they need a linebacker more than they need corners. They have a very good young cornerback room, so going with corner at this point wouldn't make sense. Losing Bobby Wagner is a big thing, so they would go with Edgerrin Cooper right there.
Yep.
Okay.
Random question: what number does Peyton Wilson have next to him?
Peyton Wilson.
Yes, scroll back up. He's the linebacker.
Let's see, 63.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he has a grade of 63 on the big board.
I'm not surprised.
He's the next one up though.
Well, and I see that, but those injuries since his senior year of high school is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of injuries, I should say. All right, next up.
All right, so
I'm not mad at you for Edgerrin Cooper because they're not going to take a quarterback. They're not going to take a wide receiver.
No.
And their offensive tackle is Charles Cross. So, yeah, they're going defense.
So here we have the Jacksonville Jaguars who love to overpay players. That's neither here nor there because it's the draft. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are in the same division as the Houston Texans, who now have Stephon Diggs, Nathaniel Tank Dell, as well as Nico Collins. They are going to need defensive backs. And here's our first defensive back off the board. It's Terrion Arnold out of Alabama.
Talk to me about him.
They need – honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't like this cornerback class. This is the weakest cornerback class that I've scouted in years. It's very top heavy. You got maybe about 5, maybe 6 guys that are like, yeah. And then the rest of them all got holes in their game. Even the top guys have a little bit of holes in their game. So it's like,
But talk to me about Arnold himself because he's a Bama cornerback, and I'm not calling him a Bama per se. I'm just saying he's coming from Alabama.
He comes from Alabama, yes.
So I'm not calling him a Bama like, oh yeah, you a Bama dude. Nah. He's a DB, and Nick Saban just retired, so
he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind sticking his head into play. He's an ankle biter type of tackler. He's not gonna come up and thump you like, let's say you got those outside bubble screen plays or those swing out passes to the running back.
He's not, so basically he's not a cover 2 cornerback. Okay.
No. He's not a cover 2 guy. He can play a lot of man. His ball skills need a little bit of work, but he's good enough to break up passes. So between him and Quinyon Mitchell, they're the 2 best corners in this draft.
Because I like Alabama DBs because Nick Saban works so hard with those guys. Well, first of all, DB is his specialty anyway. But he is so good with coverage and stuff. And I know he's retired now, but obviously Arnold was with him the whole time. So I'm sure Arnold learned a lot as a corner in Alabama. I look at PS2, I look at Diggs, I look at Minka Fitzpatrick, Eddie Jackson, Hashawn Clinton Dix. Landon Collins was a box safety all day long. And then there was another corner that I kind of like. He was kind of solid. I can't think of his name to save my life. But he's before all those guys I named. But, yeah, that's a solid pick for Jacksonville at corner. Cincinnati.
All right, Cincinnati. They need some help in the middle on defense. So I'm going Johnny Newton out of Illinois to solidify that interior so they can maybe plug some of that, not be run on, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Illinois is that team that can go 5 down linemen. A lot of single high stuff. The defensive coordinator became a head coach over at Purdue, if I'm not mistaken. And I was the one that told you about that.
Yeah, so, because that's what Illinois was known for the last 2 years was producing some decent defensive backs.
Yeah, yep. So Yeah, that's a very solid pick for Cincinnati. I like it for them.
Okay, so with the departure, moving on to the LA Rams, with the departure of Aaron Donald, they're gonna need help again in the middle. I got them going, despite what's everything that's going on with him. I have them going with Byron Murphy.
Now,
Uh,
question:
okay.
Kobe Turner's there. I know Kobe Turner benefited from having Aaron Donald next to him,
Hmm.
but I'm sure Kobe Turner learned a lot from him. I feel like you're putting two, three techs next to each other, and
Yeah.
unless
And here's my rationale for that. Here's my rationale for that. It's gonna take two men to do what Aaron Donald did. What
well,
he
I
was
mean,
able to do.
of course. Look. I don't know when the next time we're gonna have Aaron Donald in the NFL. Okay. However, and I'm not saying none of these other defensive tackles are not good, but Aaron Donald was special.
Yeah.
You need a one tech to take on double teams and stop the run. Those guys are going to get beat up over time in 17 games. And I'm not just talking about this season, I'm talking about long term. Because Kobe Turner is only going to a second year. And if you're gonna have two, three techs out there, they like I said, just gonna beat them up. Unless the defensive coordinator sit here and say, hey, look, we're gonna take a zero, and I'm talking about a legitimate zero later on in the draft, and put him in front of the center. Then you can and put a 5-man bear front out there. Then you can run that. But having two, three techs out there, like that's sexy for pass rush. That's great and all. But if I'm running the ball all day long, and you're in a division with San Francisco, who's going to sit there and run the ball?
Well, if they smart, because
And I understand that. And see, and let's just say I'm not saying the Rams are going to the playoffs this year. Let's say that even they do make it to the playoffs. Let's say they get the 7th seed. Okay, let's say San Francisco got the first seed. Let's say the Rams get the 7th seed. Let's say Detroit gets the 2nd seed. They got to travel to Detroit, who loves to run the ball.
absolutely.
So the Rams will be eliminated in the wild card round anyway. So I see where you were going, but I don't like the pick unless the defense coordinator has a plan.
Okay, so who would you put there?
I don't know what the offensive line room look like. They need a tackle, in my opinion.
I know they drafted some guys last year, so that offensive line is getting younger than it was.
Yeah, you're right. The line is younger, but I don't think none of those. Well, obviously they weren't drafted in the first round because this is the first time Rams had a first round pick in a long time. So they need a first round guy. They need an offensive tackle there to protect Matthew Stafford temporarily and protect the quarterback of the future long term. Because I don't think they have a quarterback on the future on the roster. I don't care. I don't care about the kid from Georgia.
Okay. So moving on to pick number 20. The common sense pick would be like, hey, the Steelers need a wide receiver for Russell Wilson, yada
Yeah, to
yada
help
yada.
out George Pickens.
Help out George Pickens. But I don't, because this is such a receiver deep draft, I don't see them taking a receiver at 20. I see them going with maybe their next pick with a receiver. So I think at pick 20, they're gonna again, this is a top heavy draft for tackles. You got to get your tackle early or you're gonna be in trouble. So I have Troy Faltanu out of
Troy Fontenot.
Fontenot out of Washington going to um, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think that is Vosh Lombardi's favorite offensive lineman, and a lot of times he don't miss when it comes to offensive linemen.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
he's a load. He's a load. But again, like I said, this is a top heavy There's a bunch of good
Oh yeah, it is. It
tackles
is. It
at the
is.
very beginning of this draft. But the issue is the real issue is you got to grab them early. Like if you don't get your tackle in, like I said, probably the first 50 picks, hey man, you gonna
You
be
in trouble. Yeah, now you're in trouble. You're in
SOL.
trouble.
Yeah, yeah. So with that in mind, I got Amarius Mims is just sitting there at pick 21, and the Miami Dolphins need help at tackle to go with Terran Armstead. So
Yeah, he can stay
Amarius,
at right. He can be a right tackle because I think Mims is a right tackle anyway in college.
I think he played a little bit of both throughout his college career.
Okay.
So you got another offensive tackle going to the Miami Dolphins. So Tua won't, get any more concussions the rest of his career. That's what they want. So
I'm gonna tell you something right now, and this is not arguing your pick. This is just Dolphins' future long term. Teams are going to start catching up to Tua because Tua is only good at throwing short, intermediate over the middle, and deep over the middle. That outside stuff, he cannot connect on. He cannot connect on corner routes, comeback routes to the sideline, and deep outs. Once teams figure that out, it's over for Tua. I hate to say it, but it just is. So um and Miami is not a good enough team where they can win enough games to get home field advantage and have everyone come to Miami. Miami's built like a Ferrari. I just said you need a dump truck in the playoffs.
well,
You know,
now I gotta differ with you on that because of who their coach is. He likes to run the ball.
you're right, but
With
but you saw what happened when they went to Kansas City, and it was
yeah, that
cold.
part of that it was cold. Yeah, that was part of it being cold. So,
They they
but
they
yeah,
they they, they need to either be in a dome or they need to be in South
or
Florida.
somewhere warm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what they're gonna have to do is, and I think they can do it with the demise of the Buffalo Bills. I think they can possibly win that division. All they got to do is beat the Jets.
yeah, but you gotta get that number one seed, man, because you want to guarantee that everyone comes to Miami. You don't want to have to go back to Kansas City.
This is true.
You don't want to have to go to Baltimore or Cincinnati.
This is true.
Now, if you gotta go to
Point
Houston,
taken.
if you gotta go to Houston, who's in the dome, that's fine. But if you gotta go to Kansas City, Cincinnati, or Baltimore, and I'm not saying
Yeah, and
Baltimore,
see the
and,
thing
and
is,
Baltimore's not guaranteed to be cold, but you just never know.
the thing with Houston is funny is Houston doesn't just they just don't open that roof anymore. The roof is retractable, but they don't open the roof anymore.
Okay, well, even
But,
but even
so
if the roof
you
is
can say
open,
don't.
how, okay, even if the roof is open, it's only but so cold in Houston.
Yeah,
It's not Kansas. I'm not saying Houston
it's
doesn't get
not
cold.
Kansas City.
Exactly.
It's
Or
not Kansas
Cincinnati
City
cold.
or Baltimore cold when it wants to be because
Right.
Baltimore gets pretty doggone cold when it wants to.
Yes. Yes. When it wants to.
Okay, so moving on, pick 22.
Oh
Uh,
God. Oh
yeah,
God.
so you got the Philadelphia Eagles,
Oh God.
and they're sitting here and they have a need at defensive back. So I like them taking Quinyon Mitchell.
They need a linebacker.
They need linebacker help, but
They
they
need
gonna
a center.
this the Philadelphia Eagles we talking about.
Honestly, and you know where I'm about to go with this.
So Quinyon
They need a
Mitchell,
quarterback.
see, I wasn't even gonna go there, but Quinyon Mitchell
I
is
am.
there. He is a prototypical corner. The only knock I saw in his game on the film, he has a tendency to open his hips too soon.
Ooh.
But that can be coached out.
Yeah, it can. It can.
That's not a physical
No,
discrepancy
no, no,
that
no. You're right. That's
can
a technique thing. You can
that's
coach
a
technique.
technique. You can coach that out. So if he fixes those things, in
Let me
my
ask you a
opinion,
question.
I think Quinyon Mitchell's actually a better corner than Terry Armstead.
Let me ask you a question because I know Fangio's scheme, and because I'm learning more and more. Um, how good is he in zone?
They didn't play a whole lot of zone in Toledo. They played more man.
Okay.
But he is a willing tackler. So if you stuck him in like a cover two, he has to come up and make tackles. He could do it. He's made a lot of open field tackles.
Okay,
Uh,
because then that means he'll be a perfect because Slay keeps getting older and he's gonna just keep declining as a physical corner. When I say physical, I mean like his physical ability. James Bradbury needed to go yesterday.
he's a joke. That's why I went with Quinyon Mitchell right
They
there.
they they, they drafted Kylie Ringo from Georgia last year, and Philadelphia fans like, yeah, we're the Philadelphia Bulldogs, and I'm like, that doesn't work in the NFL. You know that,
It
right?
really does not. It does not.
I remember when Tristan was so happy about having the Washington Crimson Tide on defense, and that lasted every bit of 5 seconds because Reuben Foster's not there anymore. Landon Collins was a waste of money, and Tristan was so pissed. He was like, I hate to say this, but Brandon was right. You're welcome. Um, so yeah, them getting a corner. There will be times where Fangio will be calling his targeted coverage, which is half quarters or cover eight. And that means the cover two side is going to be to the passing strength, and the quarter side is going to be to the boundary or to the weak side. Um, so if he's going to be in cover two, he's going to have to be able to come up and tackle.
And he
Um,
can. He can.
and, and if he happens to be in the boundary, he's going to run. He's going to be in quarters coverage. So he's going to get used to zone. That's all.
All right. So pick 23. This is another pick because Minnesota has a luxury pick.
Oh, that's right. They can trade back.
They could trade back. I see them possibly as another pivot point in the draft. So 3, 9, 16, and 23. Those are all picks that I can see moving. But again, we're not doing trades. So I'm gonna go. They have a need at defensive tackle in Minnesota. So I have the Minnesota Vikings taking watch this. Where is it? Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. That's the
You
pick.
know what? I'm not mad at you. Two reasons. One, his father played in the NFL, and I loved it. And his dad was fantastic. His dad really should have had a better career than he did. Not saying it was a trash career, but I think he could have had a much better career in the NFL than he did. Um, that's number one. But number two, being in that Michigan defensive system, he can two gap for a three tech. He can two gap. Okay, for a three tech, he can two gap. Um, and who's the defensive coordinator? He was a head Flores. Flores is an aggressive defensive coordinator. I think Jenkins
He fits the
schematically,
scheme.
huh?
Yeah, he schematically fits.
Schematically will get a lot of sacks this year. If they take Chris Jenkins, he will get a lot of sacks because Flores is the kind of guy that will blitz six guys and send them after the quarterback. He would literally send a house and drop into either some kind of too high shell behind it. So um, yeah, I can definitely see Jenkins succeeding.
All right. So at pick 24, you have the Dallas Cowboys.
Hold on,
It's an obvious need.
hold on.
And
All right, here Mike Fisher has already said that they are trying to work on trading back.
okay.
Um, they're trying to get their big board together, and they're gonna try to work on trading back. So, and actually, when you said Minnesota might trade back, Minnesota might take that first round pick that they have and that number 23 pick and probably trade up. But Dallas, I see Dallas probably trading back. Um, you're saying tackle. I don't
Hmm.
blame you. Number one.
I like Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma.
You know who I like more?
Who?
And he's not a tackle.
Who?
Um, the center from Duke, Graham Barton.
Okay. I'm going with Tyler Guyton, but Graham Barton makes sense because didn't wait, don't have Tyler Biadasz anymore? He left, didn't he?
Yeah, Tyler Bashers in Washington.
Yeah, so yeah, center makes the most sense. But again, tackle is top heavy. Get your
Tackle
tackle
is top
early.
heavy. You're absolutely right. And guess
Get
what?
your tackle early.
And guess what? Guess what? Guess who can move over to left tackle?
You talking about a guy from Tulsa?
Yep.
Yeah. And then
So,
you put your youngster over at right tackle.
well, I no, we already got Turnstile right tackle. So we have. So if you move Tyler Smith over to left tackle, you already got Turnstile right tackle. You take Graham Barton at center, and I can move TJ Bass to left guard, and I'm good to go.
Okay. Okay. Well, that you're the resident Cowboy fan, so you would know. I'm just going off of what the need is. So
I know. I understand.
I still like Tyler Guyton right there. So pick 25 is coming up. We had the Green Bay Packers. We need to hurry up wrap this up. Green Bay Packers do not have they need help at linebacker.
They need
Uh
help at left tackle too because they lost Dakar. I mean David Bakhtiari.
ITR. So they can either go tackle here, but I'm gonna just to make it interesting, I'm gonna go with a linebacker, and that's where Peyton Wilson goes. I see him going right there. Peyton Wilson, North Carolina State, to the Green Bay Packers.
You know what? If his medical rechecks are good, I like the pick. But if not, it's not going to be good. He had double digit injuries since in between his senior year and maybe his first 2 or 3 years in college football. Last 2 years he's been good, but the freshman and sophomore year of college he got hurt a lot. So we'll see. We'll
All
see.
right. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up. They need help at edge. And I like not Jared Verse in this situation. I like, even though he's the Florida guy, I like Chop Robinson right there.
Bob Robinson, Quincy Orchard High School, Montgomery County, Maryland.
Yeah, I like Chop Robinson there, even though Jared Verse seems like he would be the sensible pick because he's a Florida guy. So Jared Verse could go there. I'm just being fair, but I like Chop Robinson in that situation.
Chop Robinson, QO.
Yeah. So
Maryland 4A football.
So moving on, pick 27. Again, you got the Cardinals showing up. Okay. They're back in the mix. Here close to the
They
bottom
could trade
of
down too. Or they can just keep that pick.
They could keep that pick or trade down, but I like that their DB room is not what's up. So
Not at all.
I like them taking Nate Wiggins.
Okay.
Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. That's probably the third best corner on the draft in that class.
Okay.
And yeah, I see them strengthening up that defensive backfield, especially if the 49ers retain Brandon Ayuk, which I think they will. You still got Deebo Samuel, and the 49ers are probably going to add another receiver later in the draft. They're going to have to do some covering. Also, they play the Los Angeles Rams, who has Cooper Kupp and
Puka Nacua.
And then you can play the Seattle Seahawks, who have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett still playing strong, and now it's Smith and Jigba. So you're going to have to cover these receivers. So
makes sense. Makes sense.
And you know, with Brock Purdy getting better as a passer each year, because all he's done is gotten better in the 2 years he's been in the league. He's going to refine his game. So the 49ers are going to be doing way more passing than they did running. It's going to be more balanced this year coming. The Seahawks already like to throw it all over the yard. And now you have, you still have, oh God, what's his face? Hurt elbow. In LA.
Stafford.
Stafford, who still likes to sling it. So you got to cover these guys. You're gonna
Yes.
have to cover these guys. So moving on to pick 28. Obviously, there's a deficiency at wide receiver
They
in
lost 2
Buffalo.
receivers.
So I like Adonai Mitchell right there, who's a product of Houston, Texas, by the way. Played high school ball in Houston. Adonai Mitchell goes to the Buffalo Bills. I could possibly see Buffalo even trading up into one of these other lower spots that might be available to grab one of the other receivers ahead of somebody, but who knows?
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Could Buffalo get, and I'm not going to really call them stupid, could they get crazy and take Xavier Worthy, who runs a 4.2 40, and says, hey, Josh Allen, throw the ball deep to this guy all day long?
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
Okay.
I think they need Xavier Worthy is not a lot of alpha dog receiver.
I know he's not. I know. You ain't got to tell me.
Yeah, you don't take him that early. You need an alpha receiver, and Adonai Mitchell could possibly be an alpha.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I hear what you're saying, and I know you're talking as if you're the GM, but you gotta remember, some teams do suck at drafting. I'm not saying Buffalo does, but remember,
that's always that variable in there. But I'm the GM for the 32 teams tonight. So, like, yeah, I know there's gonna be some stupid stuff. Like when we go live next week, by the way, that's the plug for next week's show, and we'll talk about that in a minute after these next 4 picks. But there's gonna be a lot of WTF moments next Thursday. I promise you, because we're gonna be like, wait, what? So yeah, I know that. I absolutely know that. Moving on, pick 29. The Lions. I see them going edge, and here's where Jared Verse goes. Okay. Jared Verse to help out Aiden Hutchinson.
Yes, sir.
Now you got some issues. You got some problem situations and issues going on right now. Okay. You got problems.
All Verse has to do is average 8 to 11 sacks a season.
Yeah.
8 to 11 every season. That's it.
Yeah.
Do that.
He doesn't have to be the alpha dog rusher. He just got to, pick up the slack. Okay, Baltimore Ravens. Safety could go here, but I don't think so. I like an edge.
They got Kyle Hamilton.
Right. I like the other safety. I like an edge rusher here, and I like them going with Darius Robinson right there.
You know what? Darius Robinson's perfect.
Darius Robinson
Darius Robinson is perfect for that defense.
Okay.
Baltimore, Michigan, now the Chargers, I think Tennessee, and I think Miami. I think all 5 teams have someone from that Wink Martindale, Mike McDonald, and Jesse Minter defense. Darius Robinson is perfect. He is going to be that 6'5", 285 defensive end. That's going to he'll be able to do not 2 gap, but it's called gap and a half defense. I think Darius Robinson can execute that. That's the perfect pick right there. I love it.
Okay, so my team, San Francisco 49ers, picking 31st.
Tackle.
The games that the 49ers lost, a lot of them had to either do with Kyle Shanahan not running the ball when he's supposed to, or just the right side of the offensive line. So right there, Colton McKivitz is not what's up. Colton McKivitz is a great backup tackle. He is not meant to start 17 games. So right there, the 49ers are going to take Kingsley Sumatia, out of BYU. Kingsley has played both left and right tackle, and this is what the 49ers need. They need a rookie that can come in day one and basically start at right tackle, and inside of the next 3 years, shift to the left tackle when Trent Williams retires. And that's
You know what? You and the Jets are in the same position when it comes to the offensive tackle spot.
Yeah.
You need somebody to come in and play right tackle, and then when that left tackle is done, just come in and just flip them over.
Right. So, and because he has ability and has played both in college, he's a perfect candidate for it. He gets his NFL legs underneath him, playing right tackle. He's a force in run stopping. He's a very good pass blocker, which is going to give Brock Purdy a lot of time to get a lot of those deeper passes out, because people that don't watch the 49ers say that he can't throw the ball deep, but he can. So if he's got more time, he can throw the ball deeper, and then you can have more big splash plays because he has better protection. And also the running game becomes a lot less predictable. Most of the 49ers yards that they got last year in the run game came off of the left side behind Trent Williams and Aaron Banks. But now if you put that type of force on the right side, you don't know which way the ball's going. And they can get pop yards on run plays on both sides. So definitely right tackle. I can see the 49ers later on in the draft possibly picking up another receiver, maybe even another corner, maybe even a safety. But at pick 31, there's no other pick other than tackle that should be made right there. And Kingsley is the guy. All right, last pick in the first round, the champion of Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, you know what made Kansas City really pop back in the day? Tyreek Hill.
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. He takes the top off of the defense and opens it up.
You know what?
Opens it up for.
You know what? I'm not mad at you on that pick. The only other decision I can see, and I know this is not going. I know this may not be popular. Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers to basically pick up the slack for Kelsey, who's on the decline.
Yeah, because once Kelsey retires, pick it up.
And I feel what you're saying right there. But here's the thing. Here's why I don't agree with that. It's the first round. You want to get something that you need that you're going to use. Usually, whoever you draft in the first round, somebody you're going to use day one.
But hold on. So wait a minute. Time out. Why can't you use Bowers day one?
Because Travis Kelce's your tight end.
So?
I'm not talking about getting somebody to beat. You don't draft a tight end 2 on day one of the draft. You just don't do that.
Personnel.
You don't draft a tight end 2 on day one of the draft when you have a glaring need at receiver.
I understand that. And I get it.
You got one receiver that's probably going to prison, and the rest of them can't catch a STI in a brothel. Okay.
Hey, and I told you I'm not mad at you for the pick. All I'm saying is, when you line up Kelsey and Bowers wide, either in the slot or as a boundary X tight end, that's scary.
I'm not arguing.
And Andy Reid is the play caller.
I'm not arguing that point with you at all.
And Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback.
Absolutely. Brock Bowers and Travis Kelce in 12 personnel is deadly. However,
and guess what? You know what I call that offense? 12 gauge offense.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but what I'm saying is it's the first round of the draft. You draft guys for a position of absolute need. And like I said, Rashee Rice is probably going to jail.
And right.
And if not, he's going to be suspended for God knows how long.
So, he might be suspended for 12 games.
Right. So
because at first we were saying like 4 to 6, he might be suspended.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Worthy. Now you got a great value Tyreek Hill, and now we're about to see them. Yeah, now you're gonna see. Yeah, you're gonna see Kermit the Frog slinging it all over down the field like he used to, and that opens up everything up underneath. Now you're gonna see more. Hey, Kermit the Frog. Yeah. This is Kermit the Frog and Kermit the Frog.
Why you call him?
Talking about Pat Mahomes.
Why you call him Kermit the Frog?
Mahomes the Frog. Yeah.
Why
everybody calls him because he sounds like Kermit the Frog. You ain't never heard Patrick Mahomes talk.
I don't need to. For what? I don't listen to these players talk.
Man, if you listen to him talk, you're gonna bust out laughing now.
Oh
Because
God, don't do
now that I
that.
didn't say it, you're gonna be like, wow, he's right. Okay, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is our mock draft. I'm gonna post this on our Facebook page and possibly our Instagram page later. Um,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
the,
Matter of fact, I tell you what, do this. Do whatever you need to do to get it to the group chat. You post it on TikTok. And I post it on Instagram and it should be put on Facebook automatically.
okay, so here's the thing, folks that are watching, and we're gonna cut a promo very soon. Our show next week will not be on Wednesday. Why? Because the first round of the NFL draft is going to be Thursday night. So, for the first time ever on Just a Fan podcast, we will be doing a live watch party for the NFL draft on Thursday night, April 25th. So, we will begin our watch party as soon as the draft comes on. We may come on a few minutes early to talk about what we think is going to happen and should happen. Hopefully, we'll have all four of us on here, and we'll be giving live reaction to every draft pick that is made in the first round that night. We'll also be giving our takes on those particular picks, like, wow, that was dumb, or hey, that was a pretty smart pick. So make sure that you let a friend know that we will not be on Wednesday. We will be on Thursday. We only do this once a year. Thursday night, April 25th, for the start of the first round of the NFL draft, all the way to pick 32. We will be with you the entire time. Tune in with us. It's a watch party. We want the chat box full. We want comments, and we're going to be giving our takes. So that's our show for tonight. That was our mock draft. Brandon, run down the platforms we on, because I never remember.
All right, so we are currently live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. You can follow us on IG, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. You can listen to us on Google, Apple, Spotify podcasts. Coach Williams, the quarterback who they just won't let retire, man. They won't let me retire. But I tell you what, though, it felt good being in the war room because I like being able to sit here and give my perspective on it. Hopefully, and I'm looking forward to one day actually being in the actual war room. So because yeah, I'm a challenge my colleagues hard. Pause. Um, that direction, panel 316, holding it down for the Dose Scoop
Texas
Center.
Rattlesnake.
He's holding it down, man. He's holding it down. Draft 1.0 only. Draft 1.0 only mode. The good guy with the black hat. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, good night. The show will be on Thursday night. Remember, Thursday night next week, April 25th, 8 p. Well, we'll be on before the show will be on before 8 p.m. because the draft starts at 8 p.m. Even though the first pick ain't gonna always be on time. So it should be a wild one. Should be a great one. Should be fun. Good night. Peace.